I want to be a more effective creator of my reality. And I feel that in order to do so, I should conduct an intensive search and destroy mission of all the hidden resistance within me. How can I do this?
The problem with the search and destroy mission is that as you search and find with that sort of avid determination, what you don't want gets moving so fast that it really slows you down. In fact, it's what we were demonstrating with those cards earlier. We liked your opening words. You said, I want to be an effective creator. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And we think that if you would just use these words instead, it would set you on the right path immediately. I want to be an effective allower of what I have already created. Because the creation part is done. You've been sifting. You've filled your vortex full. There's enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. In other words, you have created it. It has been created. So what you want to do is figure out how to allow yourself alignment with what's created, and then from inside the vortex, the path to the manifestation of it will occur to you. You see, the difference between your vocabulary and ours is that you mean created manifested, and we mean created vortexed, and then we mean allowed manifested. Follow? It's in there. We were visiting with a beautiful woman recently who has been wanting to get pregnant. Not getting pregnant, not getting pregnant, not getting pregnant, wanting to be pregnant, wanting to be pregnant. Several conversations with her over a period of years about it. And then last time we saw her in Los Angeles, she announced to us and to several people in the audience who knew her, they'd been following the saga of her pregnancy for a while. I'm 4 months pregnant, she announced. And of course, she and everyone else was delighted. And as the day went on, we took opportunity to point out several things around the pregnancy. We pointed out to her that even though she is now elated because she's no longer wrapped up in the absence of baby, she still doesn't have a baby in her arms yet. She's still not walking the baby, taking the baby trick-or-treating. That's something she's really looking forward to. She's still not feeding the baby. She's still not taking, well, just that one picture of the baby, but she doesn't actually have the baby experience yet in the way she wants it. And so we said to everyone, your vortex is pregnant with all of your desires. If you could see the shift in this woman from not being pregnant to being pregnant, even though she doesn't have the baby yet, we would like all of you to take that shift. In other words, it's created. Your vortex is full of what you've created. Now you just get to play the fun game of figuring how, as in your words, which is what you're wisely looking for, how to release the resistance to allow it to come. Now we want to talk about this because over time, if you've been listening to us for a while, we have offered so many different processes and guided you in so many different mindsets to help you get a sense of this focusing of this energy. We talked about pivoting in the beginning. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So think about what you do want. But it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because where you are is where you are, and law of attraction keeps dishing up more thoughts like where you are. So it's all well and good for Abraham or someone to say to you, focus upon what you want, but if what's active in your vibration is the absence of it, then it's not all that easy to focus upon what you want. So then we began talking about just reach for the better feeling thought. Don't try to go all the way home. Don't try to get all the way into the pure positive energy. Just find something that's a little less negative. Find something, just lean a little in the direction. Try to find a better feeling thought. We offered processes like focus wheels and all kinds of things to get you thinking more in the direction of what you want. And many of you have made progress along the way. But today, we want to talk about something that we believe is infinitely more productive. And your question really cues it up in a powerful way. Because we know that the most significant thing that you must let go of before you can be the allower of all of the things that you want, you have to let go of your opinion and observation of being without it. In other words, you have to stop feeling not enough relative to the things that you want. And you would stop feeling not enough to the things that are the opposite. You would naturally do it if you could just distract yourself from it. It's not that you have to ferret it out and wrestle it to the ground and kill it. You don't need a search and destroy mission. What you need is a deactivation mission. You need an untangling mission. You need a let loose of it. You need a lightening up mission. You need an ease and flow mission. And so it's the reason that this getting into the vortex guided meditation process was created, because we see that what you are really reaching for is a vibrational shift that you have a hard time accomplishing in the midst of your very busy, very compelling, very real, very observable life. You have to find a way of detaching from it. So we talk about deactivating the thought. Well, that's a very good idea, just really tricky. Because when you say you're going to stop thinking about that thing, you're thinking about that thing that you're going to stop thinking about. I'm not going to think about that thing I'm not going to think about anymore, but you're thinking about that thing you're not going to think about anymore. It's still active in your vibration. And now I'm really irritated with myself that I can't stop thinking about that thing. Don't want to think about that thing. I'm not going 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 to think about that thing. I'm thinking about that thing. Oh, I'm thinking about that thing. So you have to start thinking about another thing. But the tricky thing about thinking about another thing when you don't want to think about that thing is that that thing you don't want to think about is so active in your vibration, law of attraction, saying, here's some more of it, here's some more of it, here's some more of it, here's some more of it. You say, no, get away from me. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to think about you. And then there's more. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to think. Oh, I need a rest. Well, what we are recommending is that you find some time that you can quiet your mind, where you can focus upon something that doesn't require much thought. So Jerry and Esther have gathered together with the help of a wonderful musician who put some really good music together, really strange music that we specifically requested, music that's not like music you usually hear because it doesn't beat the way music is supposed to beat. It's unpredictable. And if you try to sync your breath to it with 1, 2, 3 breaths in, one long breath to 3 counts is a better way of saying it. Esther likes to suck it in, suck it in, suck it in, and get as much in as she can in 3 beats, and then long, slow 5 beats out. Well, it takes a little while to figure that out. Have you been playing with it? And as you figure it out, what happens is you cannot be focused upon something like that and stay actively involved in those things that have been bothering you. So the more often you do that, the more you allow your vortex to train you upward. So what are we really saying? We've been telling you for years that when you think a thought, that then you have an emotional response to the thought that you think. We say to you, when you think a thought, that thought, that active thought, then attracts other thoughts like it. And now you have a more active connection with that thought. We've been telling you that for a long time. And now we're saying to you that if you will find some way of thinking as few thoughts about as few things as possible, by choosing something to think about that you usually don't think about, but something that is completely without resistance, that what will happen is, over time, gradually, not the first day, not the second day, but certainly by the 30th or 40th or 50th day, if you sit for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes in meditation and you have the singular intent of activating your attention to this music and syncing your breath with it, after a little while, the words that we are speaking in the background will come to the forefront, and you'll realize that you are actively involved in thought that is inside the vortex. You'll find your mind rambling, but it will be on positive things. You see, you don't wrestle the unwanted to the ground. You just leave it behind. You just leave it behind. You let it just fade into the vibrational distance. Every thought that's ever been thought still exists. So we're not going to tell you it's gone forever, because you could talk to an old friend, listen to an old song, you could look through some old photo albums, you could focus it back in, but you won't focus it back in to where it was to begin with letting it go. In other words, it takes a while to let it go, and it would take a while to bring it back. Helpful.